You read and write and then sing and experience, thinking that one day, just one day, these things will build the character you admire to live as. You love and lose and bleed best you can to the extreme, hoping that one day, just one day, the world will read you like the poem you want to. You learn, you grow, you aspire, you inspire, and live like a story that makes you the best story one ever heard. So true. And if you think the same, then that's exactly why we're here. Ladies and gentlemen, and each one of you out there with a smile and a great health. My name is Mithun Upadhyay, and I welcome you to the very interesting Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories brought to you by the ET Edge for the endless stories for life. Well, I'm ready and brewing yet another cutting chai, and I'm sure you will be delighted to taste this. So, who is joining us today? To chase an idea with a team of young, passionate, committed individuals on a path which needs to be laid and rules waiting to be framed has been only constant in the ever changing journey that he is enjoying every bit. Specialist leading teams, business, sales, marketing, developing business strategies, and consumer insights, conceptualizing brand and marketing programs. Well, all this you can read on his LinkedIn profile. But what I am giving you is something that's not mentioned anywhere. What you should know is that he is a great team player who believes in young talent and experienced folks. Love his family and his two great sons, and a great human being. And I'm so happy that I've been joined to share my cutting chai right now is Chief Operating Officer at Vedantu, Mr. Arvind Singhal. Hi, welcome to Cutting Chai. How happy are you? I love the smile on your face.
Hi, Mithun. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. I think, and yeah, it's a lovely bright morning in Bangalore today. I'm very excited to be here on the Cutting Chai. The name itself is very exciting. I know chai is my favorite drink. So yeah, so happy to be with you here today, Mithun.
Arvind, I'm so happy you mentioned bright Bangalore morning. How often do you see
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, it's becoming like London, man.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
today is really very nice. It's nice and warm morning today. So yeah,
It's
interesting day.
it's it's gonna be positive. It's gonna be lovingly as well. So I'm gonna get straight into more and ask you a lot of questions. But पहली question तो ये होने वाली है कि there's a world map behind you. I'm sure you've been missing traveling over the last 18 months.
Oh, Mithun, and how? I mean, and I'm
Uh,
sure I've been reading some surveys and reports that people are really itching to go out. But it's not just these last 2 years of pandemic. I think this is a itch which has been there right from childhood days. I mean, I still remember how when I was young in school, I got a gift of a book from Jules Verne around the world in 80 days, and I guess I didn't have a world map at that time, but my mind was still, going around the world and wondering how that journey is going to be. So very, I love traveling. I love traveling with my family, with my kids. I love to explore new places. So I guess as all of us have been stranded now for last couple of years now almost, which started as thinking that it'll be a 3 months thing, 4 months thing, but now it's almost 2 years. But yeah, looking forward to really travel again back.
Arvind, you have sparked a very interesting conversation. You spoke about traveling around the world. So, I'll have a bunch of questions. I want to let's breeze through it. That where did you travel for the first time alone, and how was it like? Do you recall?
It's nothing very exciting. So first time alone. So I grew up in a small city of Modinagar, and this was to write an exam. I had to go to Delhi, and my father had some other work on that day, and he said, "Beta, ye lo 10 rupees. You take a bus, go to Delhi. You have to go to Delhi University to write exam and come back." And I was all alone first time. I mean, I was going out. I mean, it was a big thing for me at that time, and thankfully somehow made it to the ISBT. So we used to have ISBT terminals at that time in Delhi.
Yes, yes.
Reached there, and there I realized I was running a little late, and the auto guy said, "Sir, DU बहुत दूर है, यहाँ से 110 रुपए लगेंगे." मतलब बॉस इतने तो पैसे भी नहीं है मेरे पास. बोला अच्छा आप 20 दे देना. So I was like, I was still wondering, ki, shit, dad didn't give me enough money. What is this happening? So I still somehow figured, and I asked somebody, sir, can I get some money? I actually took the money, went there, and then realized that the moment I sat in the auto, after 5 minutes or so, he said, sir, आ गया आपका, मैंने बहुत fast लेके आया, आपका exam था. And I like, shit, ban gaye lagta hai. So total, on the return back, like 1 rupee or something, I was back to the station. I found some other, some other person there. And that's when I realized that world is an interesting place, especially Delhi with all the auto guys. So it was good fun.
The first travel experience और हमारे ऑटो वालों ने यानी कि सजा दिया, आपका प्लान सजा
सजा
दिया
सजा दिया. सिखा दिया कि पता होना चाहिए गूगल मैप्स में कितना दूर होती है जगह.
And those days, from the entire Meerut Expressway to reach, Ghaziabad to go to Delhi, that was a
Yeah.
different journey altogether.
Oh,
And then
absolutely.
ISBD से लेके you have to go DU, and then to figure out कि हाँ north जाना है कि south जाना है, it's like a big confusion. Okay,
Absolutely.
so around the world travel, we can do a whole show on that, but I'm going to get into the interesting question that I love asking at Cutting Chai is
Right.
creative thinking, is the lifeblood of any organization. How do you encourage it within your organization to keep the new ideas coming?
So it's a very interesting thing, and I guess for Vedantu, so it is like a DNA in the organization. So two values which we stand by and we keep talking. I don't remember even a single day which goes without talking about them is student centricity and innovation.
Wow.
Right? These are two things which we really swear by, and pretty much, and it's not something written just on the walls. This is something which we really practice, and which we try to inculcate right from the senior leadership, founders, everyone to pretty much the person who's right there in the front, right? So across the teams, across levels, people look for that. Now, but what we have also noticed that it's not just about saying, okay, come, let's do brainstorming, let's do whiteboarding. Uh, Typically, you hear a lot of that, but what I have learned and what our organization believes is that it's not just about setting, saying that we want to innovate and we do creative thinking. But what I've seen is the best where the creative thinking actually comes out is when you typically people think creative thinking is sari boundaries khol do. But actually, when you give more clarity and define boundary, that's when creativity comes out even better. So it sounds very contradictory, but that's where we have seen that how results come out much better. So imagine you say people that, okay, guys, let's do something creative today, versus saying, guys, here's a problem. This is what customer needs, and we want to offer a solution which nobody has seen about it. You have defined something, you have given a clarity, and there the kind of ideas you get, it's much more sharper, much intelligent, and actually lot more value adding versus just saying, okay, let's do brainstorming,
Hmm.
so that, so first thing what we have seen is giving a clarity actually brings out creativity into the organization much better. And how do you give that clarity is by we extensively invest in listening, listening, and I'm just calling it listening. Now, there are
Yeah.
different kind of listenings we do. So there are student feedbacks which come, there are calls which we listen to, there are, for example, interactions with consumers which are happening. And we encourage people across functions to actually listen and listen carefully and understand what's happening, because then that starts giving a lot more clarity on what are the things where we can innovate, what are the things which we can do. So that's one idea, is that to infuse creativity, that how do we bring more clarity into what we need by listening very carefully. The other important aspect is appreciating new ideas, because almost everybody gets new ideas, right? It's not that you need to wear a thinking hat and say, you know what, I am the creative thinker here and rest of all of you guys can't think. No, I mean, ideas come everywhere, diamond doesn't.
Right.
The whole thing is, the more you appreciate the new ideas coming in, the more it's like it starts catching up, and it's something which becomes a culture. And that's what we do, we appreciate every new idea. I've seen a lot of times people say, okay, this is an idea I have, and most of the time I hear people saying, oh, that's an interesting idea, but we have done that in the past, but this is why it didn't work, or this is why it worked, but maybe we should try it again. Now that's a very interesting way. Whereas a lot of places I see people say, oh no, this we have done before, this won't work. But that's not how, for example, we operate here. It's like you appreciate every new idea, you explain the constraint maybe in the past which was there, but then you set it up for new journey ahead. You encourage people to try that. And
True.
the third important thing is you start small. Now what happens? Every big idea sounds very exciting, and suddenly you feel, oh my god, and then either you can get overwhelmed with that idea or you don't know where to start. What we encourage our team is that whatever new idea we're thinking of, let's start from somewhere, let's start small, let's try it out. So we have a huge culture. I mean, if ever you step up into any of our team meetings, you will hear this word, okay, so where are we piloting this, where are we experimenting, how does the pilot cohort looks like, how is it comparing, what are we learning from there? These are very common conversations in our team. So I think a combination of this is how we really work on this. And just to give you an example, I don't know whether you got a chance to look at it. Now, based on some of this only, I'm just giving you one example, and there are lots which we keep doing. So for example, you must have heard of VIP, so Vedantu Improvement Process. So the promise, this is something we launched around a month back. And how it came up is very simple, interesting, based on a lot of calls and everything which we were listening. There was one call where a parent said, "Sir, पढ़ाते तो सब है, जिम्मेदारी कोई नहीं लेता." And we're like,
True.
"Yeah, holy shit!" I mean, this is like so important and so powerful, right? And this is something. And we said, so why don't you ask for it? He said, "Sir, कौन लेगा जिम्मेदारी? मतलब, who will say? Who is going to take my principal of the school, my teachers? You talk to anyone, you go to anybody. Nobody takes any commitment that yes, we are teaching, but how can we guarantee? Because it's your kid. It will depend on how much he or she studies. That is what will it." And we
Absolutely.
said, and we said, like, this is such a powerful thing. And then we spoke to hundreds of parents, and everybody said, yes, if that is possible. Is this really possible? Are you sure? Is somebody going to take an ownership? I mean, that will be amazing, right? And we said, so why not? Because we believe that. And then we asked our teachers, so the litmus test was that we asked our teachers, will you take a commitment that everybody who's coming on our platform, we will be able to, add value to them? They said, why not? We are ready to put it on paper and commit to the world. We said,
Wow.
fantastic. Now that is a thing. And we launched this, right? And we started getting calls from other, players and saying, are you guys really sure what you're doing? I mean, why are you promising progress? What if the kid doesn't even come to the classes? We said, now that is their response, which is what we have asked for, right? You
True.
come to
True.
classes, you put one hand forward. We are confident that we'll walk together with you. So
Right.
yeah, so that's how things keep coming up. And so it's pretty much like every day how you keep building, keep listening, keep building, the clarity on what we want to do, and then build it together with some start small and make it happen.
I just love the thought. First I'm going to go back to the question the lady asked कि पढ़ाते सभी हैं पर जिम्मेदारी कोई लेता. It's a very simple thought,
It's
but
very
very
simple.
impactful. Very impactful, and
Absolutely.
nobody really thought about it. And then when you kind of reiterated the thought in your mind, you're like, yes, the world is saying कि हम सिखाएंगे पर दिखाता कोई नहीं है, देता कोई नहीं है. And that's where Vedantu played the role a month back, and now they're in picture. So you spoke about the culture at Vedanta. You spoke about how you help the newbies and the ones who are playing, who are already there, be a part of this entire thing, and then continue in the process of learning each day. And because of that answer you gave me, that answered three of my questions, I'm going to straight jump into my fourth question. What are you doing to ensure that you continue to grow and develop as a leader, just not at Vedantu, but wherever you go in future?
Ah. Okay. So I think, as they say, right, leadership is an endless journey, right? You just
Yeah.
keep growing and growing, and there's no limits and ends to where it can go. So if you ask me, the one thing which comes to my mind very strongly is that phrase or the book which has been written and have been, I'm sure it's oft repeated, but it's somewhere stuck in my mind, is stay hungry, stay foolish. I think that is something which really inspires me. And maybe if you can summarize in one line possibly defines how I look at developing myself. So so always hungry to understand what's happening, what's new, what are the things I can learn from. So I read a lot, not necessarily a heavy reader of too many books, but read articles, read commentaries, expert opinions. Um, for example, recently I was reading Japo's book on delivering happiness, because
Wow.
we were thinking of how do we build wow for our customers. So right, so we actually have created a new term for our own internal lingo, which we call as wow. And uh, how we got it, it's a very different story. I'll maybe pick it up some other day. But so it was something like Vedantu out of the world experience. So how do we create that?
Wow.
Right. So that's wow.
Wow.
So it's almost now 3.5 months everywhere in the organization. I mean, we have been continuously talking and saying, so guys, have we created wow today? What are we doing? What? And it's not that you have to, build, you know, great castles to make that happen, but build something new every day. What? So today in your interaction, so even simple thing like today you interacted with 10 families over a phone call. Did you create a wow today with them? Did you leave a memory with them so that they will remember you? Even they bought the course, not bought the course, that's okay. But will they remember you after 10 days, 15 days and say, yeah, I spoke to somebody at Vedantu, right? So that's something. So we were working about thinking on. So in that context, I was reading this book with so delivering happiness. So that was something I was thinking about reading. The other thing, as I mentioned in my to your earlier question also, was we really love to listen very, very carefully. I think that is a mantra of understanding what's happening with people, what are they thinking, why they are thinking in a certain way. And people give lots of ideas. They just keep telling you either verbally or non-verbally that, hey, you're not really up to the mark right now. If you do this more things, maybe this is something. And I'm not just talking customers, I'm talking, let's say, my teammates. You get those signals that this is where you could have done better. They might not say it, but that this is the time maybe you could have done. Also, I go one step forward. I actually I think I like to invest in myself. And I go gather every 6 months a 360 feedback on me, that what are the things which I should stop doing, what are the things I should start doing, what are the things I should continue doing. And a lot of people have told me, don't you get tired every 6 months you come back, you ask? I said, if you have nothing more to add, that is where I have a worry, that if in 6 months I have not been able to, move forward, then. So yeah, so that's another process I use quite diligently. I gather, I reflect, and then I try to evolve. So obviously I'm not able to work on everything, but something interesting or the other I pick every 6 months and work on those. So yeah, so that's how I try to prepare and keep getting better and work on that method.
Now that's wow, isn't it? If I would say that, that's wow. And I think if you're looking at a brand ambassador next time for wow, Saif Ali Khan, wow.
Yeah.
He never said wow, wow, right? He said be with the wow. And
Yeah.
also, you spoke like a true monk story or a prospect of a monk that the success doesn't lie in what you speak or what you deliver, but how much you listen to. And listening is the key power to anything you do, just about anything. I'm going to break this and go back to a little past. Do you remember receiving your first salary? And what did you do with the money? How did you spend it?
Yeah, I should thank Mr. Ratan Tata and the telco as a company, because they were my first. That was the first
Really?
place I worked. Yeah, I started after IIT. I started working with telco. Uh, in,
Jamshedpur?
in Pune. I was in
In
Pune.
Pune. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So obviously I don't think I'll ever forget that. So it was
Wow.
around, I think, around 6,000 plus 6,200, 6,300, something like that is my first salary I got, and I was over the moon. Wow. Finally I've started earning. Yeah. So what did I do with that? Yeah, of course. I mean, I did usually what normally people do. So family was the key focus. So immediately I still remember I went to a market which I would have never gone before and never after, which was Lakshmi Pet in Pune, where you. So I went there, bought a watch for my father. So
Oh, wow.
bought a sari for my mom, and I had my sister and the brother still then. So I bought some clothes for them, is what I remember. So these were the four things I bought, and I didn't know how to buy a sari. It was like the most interesting experience there to really even understand. I just went on my color sense and some sense of fabric, and finally picked up something and got it home. And yeah, I guess I would have spent pretty much more than half of my salary, or almost pretty much everything out there in
I'm
food.
keen to know what happened with the other half. What did you do with the other half?
Other half would have gone in my savings, I guess. I'm not a so till that time I was a complete teetotaler and non-smoker and things like that. So, and we actually went on a trip, I think, if I remember correctly,
Wow.
to but we were preparing for CAT at that time, so everybody was busy that let's focus right now. I said no, but with the salary, something has to happen. So that was where it went.
After finishing IIT, that focus to CAT becomes even more. Like money is numerous, but the focus is 10 times more than that to write and get through a CAT for IAM for a shop. I'm gonna ask you this one question that is a very interesting question because everybody's got a friendly ear. Who's yours? Someone who you listen to without judging that person.
I think that has to be one and only my best friend from college days who managed to ensure that I don't leave her, and she married me, and
Wow.
and and she is now the mother of the two boys I'm so proud of. So that would be Parija, who's my wife. We have been together more than 20 years now. So she is one who I know I can rely on her feedbacks, on her thoughts, and I know when she's not even saying what she's not saying. So, a- and she's the one whose judgment and whose feedback I really value and trust a lot.
So vice versa, do you also go and speak to her and she listens to you?
I guess so. I've been given that compliment every Teacher's Day. That yeah. So I guess.
Okay, that was really interesting, Arvind. I would really want to speak a long chat. I wish it was not cutting chat, but a full कटिंग का पूरा वो चाय का होता है ना वो पूरा साथ में कि हम
Ketli.
साथ में बहुत बात कर सके but I think what I'm going to get into the next segment of it and here I generally ask this question that people have this connection to a song, one song that describes the journey. So
Hmm.
if you have to describe your journey by the means of a song, what would that be?
Wow. Now that's an interesting one.
See, I've got you thinking.
Yeah, right now the only song which is coming to my mind is Uthe sabke kadam tararam pam pam haji aise geet gaya karo kabhi khushi kabhi gam tararam pam pam haso aur hasaya karo. I guess that's the song
Wow,
which
and
is
you
coming to my
sing as
mind.
well. Now that is good. Of course, IIT के दिन है, IM के दिन है. These things keep coming for sure. And I know I have a bunch of friends from IIT and IM, so I know what all mystery and history that you all have back in the days of your college days and your master days as well. So the next round is very interesting. This is out of syllabus, and we purposely bring this out because people should not plan the answers, but come give me the honest answers here. This is called
Okay.
this or that. For example, chai ya coffee. Chai, of
Chai.
course. Okay. Studies online or studies offline?
Studies online.
That's one. IIT Mumbai or IIM Calcutta?
IIT Mumbai.
Happiness or excitement?
Happiness.
Coffee date or cocktail date?
Cocktail date.
Bangalore or Bengaluru?
Okay. Bangalore.
No, I still like Bangalore for some. I don't know why. I love Bangalore for that matter. Okay, idli for breakfast or parathas for breakfast?
Italy.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
Satya Nadella or Bill Gates?
Satya Nadella.
Bangalore by the day or Bangalore by the night?
Bangalore 24/7.
24 by 7. Cutting chai or cutting chai with Mithun Upadhyay?
Cutting chai with Nitin Upadhyay.
Thank you. I just have this last question. You did your BTech from IIT Mumbai. post which you did post-grad in marketing from IM Calcutta. Then the career span from McDonald's to Taxi for Sure, Bluestone.com, Black Buck, and now Vedantu. With so much under your belt, did you ever think you will be in conversation with me over cutting chai stories?
Are you really asking that question, Nitin? No, I had a dream 20 years back that I am going to talk to Nitin one day, you know.
Well, that's exactly what cutting chai offers you. This laughter, this happiness, this joy, and there's a flash of the life that you spent back in your college or school or earlier to that. And that's why it's called Cutting Chai Stories. We break it for the best nostalgia ever. Thank you so much, Mr. Arvind Singhal, for joining us here with such a happy story. Your life is a story which is a true gift, and it should be treated as such. This is Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, brought to you by ET Edge. My name is Mithun Upadhyay. Watch, listen, as Arvind said. Listen again. Because not because Arvind said, because Arvind is asking you to listen to it, because that's where the achievement starts. And then smile. Success is right next to you. Thank you.